Welcome to Geeks Assemble. My name is Jordan.
And my name is Mike.
And today we have an unboxing video for you.
It is a special unboxing video. Very special. And my shirt is kind of a special giveaway for the unboxing. So around Christmas time, actually it was November 11th was the actual date. Nintendo decided that they were going to create and release the NES Classic. It was going to be a miniature version of the classic Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was going to contain about 30 different games. Now, I used to have a Nintendo. I also had a Super Nintendo. I had a Sega Genesis, a Nintendo Game Boy, and a Sega Game Gear, the miniature version of the Game Boy, just with Sega games. Now, in college, I was a very poor college student, of course, and watching all of my friends who had the PlayStation, I got a little bit jealous. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to sell my existing video game systems to buy a PlayStation. And so I took all of my game systems, the consoles, and all of the games that I had, and we had a ton of games growing up, and I took it down to my local game trader, and they gave me about just enough to buy a PlayStation and 1 or 2 games, and that was it. And I look back on that as a dumb decision in my life. I did the same thing with a lot of my childhood toys, and I look back on that now and realize that I probably should have held on to that. All those things, because now I wish I had them to share them with my son, but I don't. I sold it all, and I regret it. I've regretted it every day. And but now, guess what? Nintendo is releasing the NES Classic, and it has 30 games from all those glory days of Nintendo and when I was growing up. And I remember having about 10 of the games that are contained on the NES Classic. The problem is they didn't make enough, and so immediately on November 11th, when the system was released, it took about 3 seconds for them to sell out completely online, and stores only had 10 or 11 systems in their stores, and people waited outside the doors on that day, and they purchased them all up, and they were gone immediately. I didn't even get a chance to even look to see if they had one. And everywhere I went and asked, do you have any NES Classics? And they were sold out. And then Black Friday came along. Mm-hmm. Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And I thought, okay, surely they will have enough NES Classics on the shelf by then to fulfill the demands of the people that want to buy that. And so Black Friday, I went out and looked, and many stores, GameStop, Target, Walmart, Freddy's, they only had 5 or 6 systems. Our GameStop had 11 systems, and when I went by there, they said they were all gone. So finding an NES Classic on the store shelves is a pretty much impossible task.
It's like the lottery.
It is. And you can buy them online. You can go on eBay right now, because that's what most people did. They bought the NES Classic and it made its way onto eBay. And so now you can buy an NES Classic on eBay for around $200. I think the cheapest I've seen them is about $150. And that is crazy ridiculous as far as prices go. So the other night I was having dinner with one of my good friends. We get together regularly for a Bible study. We talk about life. We disciple one another. We are good friends, and we've been friends since college. And the subject of the NES Classic came up, and I kind of laughed. I said, oh yeah, the NES Classic, I really want one. That's something that I have been trying to find. It actually, and I don't know, maybe we should talk about this. The NES Classic was actually my idea that I had a long time ago. course, I don't work for Nintendo, and they didn't hear me. I didn't tell them. But my idea was a little different. It involved recreating an actual Nintendo and having the ability to play the old games on it and to resell some of the old games. And it's a long story. I won't bore you with it, but that was my idea. But then they came out pretty much right after that. I showed Jordan. He can tell you. I showed him the article about the NES Classic, and this is what Nintendo's doing. I said, they've taken my idea, look, they're going to make it. And I was excited because I'd get to play those old games that I wanted to play. That's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And to show Jordan, hey, look at these old games. I had a lot of these. And for him to get to play them. So anyway, I was having dinner with my friend, and we started talking about the NES Classic and my idea for this SNES Classic, the Super Nintendo version. Again, it plays the old cartridges. So Nintendo, if you're watching, come on, you got to make it playable with the old stuff. But anyway, after dinner, I decided, I'm going to stop by Fred Meyer, just do my normal toy aisle walk, electronics aisle walk, and just see kind of if they have anything that might interest us. So I walked in, and I walked into the electronics section. I started to walk down the video game aisle, and I looked at some of the games, and there was other people shopping there too, which it was late. It was around 10:30, and I was like, there's no way people should be out this late. Of course I was. But anyway, I get down the aisle, and I look up at the Nintendo area where I know that they have a spot with a price tag for the NES Classic. And there is a box sitting there, the colors of the NES Classic box with the black and the red, and I couldn't believe it. I said, no way. And I ran down the aisle and I looked, and guess what there was? An NES Classic in the glass. Now there were people shopping, and I said, I better get down there quick and tell them I want to buy it before those other people see it. So I ran and grabbed the guy from the counter, and I said, hey, I would like to purchase the NES Classic. And he said, congratulations. It was like Jordan said, like winning the lottery. And so I got an NES Classic, and we're going to unbox this for you on video right now because I'm dying to play this thing. I haven't been able to play it yet because I'm waiting to unbox it with him. So let's do that right now. Alright, so here's the NES Classic Edition. It says 30 classic NES games, and it has all the games included. Here's some of them: Super Mario Brothers, Metroid, Pac-Man, and we got Donkey Kong, Legend of Zelda, Kirby's Adventure, and that's just a small handful of the games included. Here's the back of the box. Retro Blast from the Past. That's what it says right there. But we've got some pictures of some of the games, and we've got some screenshots of a few of them. But here's the list right here. If you don't know what the 30 games are, I'm sure you've seen it online, especially if you're interested in this. I will quickly read them off. Balloon Fight, Bubble Bobble, Castlevania, Castlevania 2, Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Double Dragon 2, Dr. Mario, you've got Excite Bike, Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy. They're like on Final Fantasy 87 now, so there's a lot of them. Galaga, Ghosts and Goblins, Gradius, Ice Climber, Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure, the original Mario Brothers, which was the sequel to Donkey Kong. I believe that was the sequel to Donkey Kong. Mega Man 2, Metroid, Ninja Gaiden, Hi! Those of you who are fans of the movie The Wizard with Fred Savage, remember that. Pac-Man, Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream. It's no longer Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. They took away that licensing even when the NES was out, I believe. Let's see, Star Tropics, Super C, which is Contra, Super Mario Bros. That's the original Super Mario Brothers. Believe that's the sequel to Mario Brothers. Then we've got Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, Tecmo Bowl, the football, game that I used to play. It was really fun. Legend of Zelda and then Zelda 2. Now, I had about 10 of these. I had about 10 of these games growing up. If I were to try to remember them all right now, I might not be able to do that. But alright, so that's the back. The side has some spec information. There's spec information on the bottom, and then there's just kind of a side view here and a small little hand holding the system itself. Alright, so we're going to open this guy up right now. Let's take a look at this. Alright, box is open. Finally, right? Yeah. We've been holding on to this for a while. And you slide it out. And looky here. So this is what we have on top. This looks like the instruction packet and everything. So let's look at this real quick. We've got a little thing for my Nintendo points. I won't show you that just in case I want to use it. NES Classic Edition. These are the warranty and stuff. Let's see. Classic Edition startup instructions. So these are the instructions. Looks like a poster here. Alright, Jordan, let's look at this poster. Let's hold this up. Here, hold that. Let's angle the camera here. Alright, we're back here. Let's show the poster here. Give them a good angle of this. It's all reversed. It's hard to see. Alright. Now, I don't know how many of you know this. This is the original setup for Nintendo NES. And so you have the game, you have the light gun to play Duck Hunt, and this one is the Mario Brothers. This one didn't have Mario Brothers on it. It's just got Duck Hunt. The one I remember had Mario Brothers too. Super Mario Brothers. Excuse me. They had the original Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and then this game called Gyromite. Yeah, Gyromite. And it had this robot here. And I don't know how many of you know that, but that robot, I knew one guy who had that. And as you played the game, this robot would pick up this top-looking thing, and it would spin it on the different platforms. These little platforms that are around the base of this robot. And he would grab them with his hands, lift that up, and it would spin on these things. It's pretty awesome. Kind of technically, it was kind of a hard game to play. And not everybody I knew had it. And it was only in a few of these entry systems. And a lot of people didn't get that. They got the system with Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers, and that was it. They just got those two. Anyway, so this poster is kind of cool to have that in it. So coincidentally, if you have a Nintendo DS or a 3DS and you're playing the games with the amiibos, what is the game called?
Super Smash Bros.
Is it Super Smash Bros. With the amiibos?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a little robot amiibo that you can buy in the store right now for that game. I don't know what the robot does in the game, but he looks just like that. Alright, so back to the unboxing video. Alright, so here we are. We're going to pull this out. This is the system here. Here it is. Oh.
Done. Legend of Zelda.
So, yeah. That is definitely a mirror image, or not a mirror, but a miniature version of the original NES. This door does not open. If you had an original NES, this is the door where you would put in the cartridges. But of course the cartridges were at least this wide. So anyway, you got a power button here, reset button. You got two controller ports, and these are much like the Wii controller ports that are on the Wii systems now. So this will not play with old controllers, nor will it play with the USB controller, because that is not a USB. If you turn it, let's look around the back here. HDMI out. So this is an HDMI system. You can play this on your big screen television, and that is one thing that the old systems can't really do. You can plug them into most televisions, but it won't be true HDMI. And then you got your plug for the power, I'm assuming, right here, DC in. Yeah, this is pretty cool. What do you think, Jordan?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've never played an original Nintendo game.
Well, there's the system right there for you. Let's look at the rest of this. So we're unboxing the rest. Okay.
Controller?
This is the controller. Let's look at it here.
Get that
Alright. Okay. So here's your standard Nintendo controller. It looks much like what I remember growing up. Of course, it's a different port than the one that I had growing up. This is not the same kind of plug that an original Nintendo had.
Nope.
But other than that, it looks pretty cool. Now, if you can't see it because I can't put the whole thing in the screen, but the controller cord is really short. I would say that's a 2.5 foot cord. So you got to sit pretty closely to your NES Classic in order to play it. They do sell extenders to make the cords longer, but my understanding is that you'd probably rather would have a longer HDMI cable so that this is sitting next to you while you play. From my understanding of things that I've looked at, when you want to play a different game, switch games, you have to hit the reset button to take you back to the menu. And so you want to have this close to you to be able to hit that button. Alright, so if we continue unboxing, we've also got a power cable, or power box. I don't know what to call this. This is your power, but it's got the USB in. So I'm assuming the power cord has a USB cable. Here's the cables. Yeah, this is a USB cord. Let's look at it here. So you got your USB that goes into this. Like so. And then you've got your miniature USB, or your, yeah, that goes in the back of the system. So that's your power cable for the Classic, and then an HDMI cable, which is a standard HDMI. Again, like I said, this isn't very long, so you probably want to get a longer HDMI so that you can set the Classic down next to you while you play. Alright, so that is our unboxing video of the NES Classic. It is small, as you can tell. It just barely fits in my hand like that. It's pretty tiny. I don't plan on selling this on eBay. No. Sorry folks. It took me a long time to find this, and when I found it I felt pretty lucky. So I'm excited to play these games with my son, and we'll enjoy some classic Nintendo gaming for quite a while. And so I'm looking forward to being able to do that with him. And I hope if you're looking for an NES Classic that you do find one. I hope that there's more on the way to the stores, and that Nintendo figures out that the demand for this type of thing is quite high, and that honestly, from what I understand, getting ROMs and playing ROMs on your computer is just not the same. It's not the same as playing the classic NES games on a classic NES controller and being able to feel like you're part of the 80s again. That nostalgia that comes from playing these games is pretty awesome. And so, Nintendo, I do hope that you decide to do this again with the Super Nintendo. And honestly, I think it would be really neat if they figured out a way to somehow add an additional hard drive to this, plug it in through the HDMI, and upload some more games. I don't know how they would do that. I honestly don't know what's inside here to be able to keep the games. But if they found a way that you could plug in another one of these to this one and play another 50 games. That would be really awesome. And so, Nintendo, figure that out. Figure out how to do that. And when you go to make the Super Nintendo Classic, the SNES Classic, make it so it plays the old cartridges so that we can play some of those old games that you don't include in the system. I think that would be awesome. Thanks for watching. We're excited to continue to make these kind of videos for you. If you would, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button so that you'll not miss any of our future videos about different things like Nintendo and other geeky, fun, comic book, television, movie related things that we like to talk about. Yeah.
That's it.
That's all we've got today. So watch for us. We'll be back. Thanks for watching.